What's up, YouTubers? It's been a long time since my last deep Prot Warrior guide, and with a new patch here on Turtle WoW, Scars of the Past 1.18.0, I decided to update it. That's the first thing I'd like to mention. Second thing is that this guide will be long, like most of my guides, really. But I'll make timestamps so you just navigate from part to part, but I highly recommend to watch full video. That way you will understand what am I talking about. In this video I'll cover talents, rotation, stats, some tips and tricks, a bit of gearing and weapon skill, glancing blows and hit. So without further ado, let's jump straight to talent points. I'll do my best to explain each talent and why am I putting points in them in the first place. Okay guys, so when it comes to deep Prot Warriors, anticipation is not really an option for you. Why? It's a great talent. It's a great talent. It increases your defense skill by 20. However, being a deep Prot Warrior, deep Prot/Impale Warrior, you are already chunky. You are wearing a shield that has 2.5, 3k plus armor. Therefore, you don't really need anticipation. Instead of anticipation, I will put points, for example, in cruelty, and so on, and so on. I will give you anticipation build, and I will give you the build that I think is the best. So, what to focus on when you play deep Prot Warrior? Shield block value is your best friend, because Shield Slam is the best ability when it comes to deep Prot Warriors, and Shield Slam is modified by your shield block value and attack power, strength or attack power. Strength equals into attack power, 2.2 attack power if you have Blessing of Kings. So the bigger your shield block value is and attack power, the bigger your shield slams are. Shield slam is therefore threat. Simple as that. Okay, so let's start first with the build that I would recommend. 2 out of 2 improved Blood Rage. 3 out of 5 into Shield Spec for now. Now we have Toughness over here. Then we have Last Stand. Then we have Improved Revenge, which gives your Revenge ability a 45 seconds chance to stun the target. That's totally irrelevant. However, it reduces the cooldown of Revenge by 1.5 seconds. And trust me, 1.5 seconds is a lot. Especially because Revenge is one of those abilities like Heroic Strike that deals extra threat. And you will need extra threat. Now let's put one more in Shield Spec just to unlock 4th tier. In 4th tier, you are going to put 5 out of 5 in Defiance. Okay, so Shield Slam, 1 out of 1. Slam the target with your shield, causing blah 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 damage, modified by your shield block value and attack power. This attack causes a high amount of threat and has a 50% chance of dispelling one magic effect on the target. Right. 1 out of 1 Shield Slam. Next we have Improved Shield Slam, which reduces the cooldown of Shield Slam by 1.5 seconds. And using this ability will also grant you an extra 70% chance to block the next attack within 4.5 seconds. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Especially because it reduces the cooldown of your Shield Slam by 1.5. Let me simplify that for you guys. For Fury Prot, Bloodthirst is the best ability for threat. For Deep Prot, Shield Slam is the best ability for threat. You have Concussion Blow, yes, you have Heroic Strike, you have Revenge, but Shield Slam, that's where Deep Prot shine on Turtle WoW. Next we have One-Handed Weapon spec, which increases the damage you deal with one-handed weapons, melee weapons, by 10%. Huge, huge, huge. Over here we have Defense Tactics. While wearing a... Let me explain this talent to you. While wearing a shield, you retain up to 180 of the increased threat generation from defensive stance in other stance, which means you can use Shield Slam in Berserker stance. If you know or don't know, being in Berserker stance increases your damage by 10%. So that means bigger Shield Slams and of course bigger threat thanks to defensive tactics. Not only bigger threat, 100%, 180% of the increased threat generation. That's just insane. That's just insane. Shield Slam in Berserker stance. Or Shield Slam in Battle stance. And so on and so on. Over here we have Concussion Blow. Concussion Blow is part of your rotation also. And it's a really nice ability. Now we are done over here. Let's move to Arms tree. Tactical Mastery 5 out of 5. Improved Rend 2 out of 2. Now over here, what I will do, I will put, you have option. You have option. If you want to be even more chunkier, which I don't recommend, because you see, when it comes to Deep Prot Warrior, when it comes to Deep Prot Warrior, you don't want to be too chunky. Because if you are too chunky, you're not getting any rage. And not getting any rage will lead you into rage starvation. And rage starvation will lead you in 0 TPS, aka threat per second, or threat. Call it however you want. You want to have approximately 400 defense. Then you want to focus on attack power, strength. Strength, attack power, critical strike, agility. Right. For bigger concussion blows, for bigger shield slams, for bigger revenge, for bigger heroic strikes, etc., etc. So I'm going to put, you can put, no problem. If you are starting, if you don't have good gear, just put few points into deflection, 3 out of 5. But I would go into improved heroic strike. Right. Now we have deep wounds. Your critical strikes causes the opponent to bleed, dealing 60% of your melee weapons average damage over 6 seconds. Improved overpower, 2 out of 2. So thanks to tactical mastery, for example, now you can, if you are in defensive stance or if you are in berserker stance, if your target dodge, you can immediately go to battle stance and execute overpower, which will be almost 100% crit on that target. Now that's a lot of threat over there. And you will have a lot of dodge from your enemies, especially bosses. Now we are going 2 out of 2 in Impale. Look how Impale perfectly stacks with deep wounds, improved overpower, shield slam, concussion blow, revenge, and heroic strike. And then 2 points in cruelty. Unfortunately, we cannot fill cruelty 5 out of 5. So increases your chance to get a critical strike with melee weapons by 2%. Right. So this is the build that I would go for. Number 1 build. The rotation of this build would be Concussion Blow. Actually, no, hold on a moment. Blood Rage into Shield Slam into Concussion Blow into Revenge into Heroic Strike into Shield Slam into Revenge into Heroic Strike into Shield Slam into Overpower into Stance Dance into Overpower if your target dodge. Right. Simple as that, really. Simple as that. Especially because defensive tactics gives you 180% of that threat increased generation from defensive stance in other stance while wearing a shield. So make sure to wear a shield all the time. Right. So that will be build number 1. Let's cover build number 2. 2 out of 2 in Blood Rage, 3 out of 3 in Anticipation, 5 out of 5 in Toughness. Then we have Last Stand, of course, Improved Intervene Nothing, Improved Taunt Nothing, 3 out of 3 in Improved Revenge. Now we have to put 1 point into Shield Spec, Defiance, 5 out of 5, Shield Slam, Improved Shield Slam. Now we are going 2 out of 5 into One-Handed Weapon Spec, which increases the damage you deal with one-handed melee weapons by 4%. Defensive tactics, and let's put 2 more into One-Handed Weapon Spec. Now it increases the damage we deal with one-handed weapons, melee weapons, by 8% into Concussion Blow. Now over here we have Tactical Mastery also, we have Improved Rend, we have Improved Heroic Strike, Deep Wounds, Improved Overpower, Impale, and now you can put 3 out of 5 into Cruelty. So this will be your second build. We just traded one-handed weapon spec into Cruelty, which will give us an additional crit chance, crit chance. So that's pretty much it. Iron Will, useless. Improved Intervene, useless. Improved Taunt is not bad, actually. Improved Taunt is not bad, but 2 seconds, I mean, no one's gonna die in 2 seconds, you know. So I decided not to put points over there. Then we have Improved Disarm, nothing. Gag Order, nothing. Improved Shield Wall, nothing. Then Deflection, I told you. If you are taking a lot of damage, put 3 out of 3 in Deflection instead of 3 out of 3 in Heroic Strike. Then we have Thunderclap, which is useless, especially if you have Thunder Fury. By the way, yeah, your rotation includes Thunderclap as well. So, yeah. Improved OP, Deep Wounds, and Impale, and Cruelty. So, that's pretty much it when it comes to talent points. Very, very simple. However, this is the second build. I would recommend the first build. And when it comes to rotation of second build, it's the same as the first build. Really. Now let's move on to rotation, to actually show you rotation of Deep Prot Warrior. Okay, so let's do rotation over here, guys. So first of all, it doesn't matter. You can start in defensive stance. You can start in Zerker stance. Personally, I like to start in Zerker stance because I have available Whirlwind also. and cleave. Cleave doesn't demand Zerker stats, but you get the idea. So, um, Blood Rage immediately into Shield Slam, into Concussion Blow, into Heroic Strike, Revenge will proc, into Shield Slam, into Thunder Armor, into Shield Slam, into Thunder Armor. You can use Whirlwind also. You can every time Shield Slam is on cooldown, you want to use it because that's your best option over there. That's your best option. Like I said, what's Bloodthirst for Fury Prot Warrior? That's Shield Slam for Deep Prot Warrior. Then, okay, we have Concussion Blow back on cooldown, Shield Slam, another Shield Slam, into Heroic Strike, into Thunder Armor, into Shield Slam, boom, 1.6k easy. Okay, now let's enable Glyph of Deflection. Glyph of Deflection, boom, 2.2k Shield Slam. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. There we go. Into Heroic Strike, into Thunder Armor, into Shield Slam once again, into Concussion Blow, into Shield Slam once again. Boom. There we go. Now that's 2k Shield Slam. That's like, I don't know, insta 3.54k threat. That's what I'm talking about. Don't forget about Heroic Strike. Don't forget about Whirlwind. And don't forget about Cleave when you're fighting trash packs. Right. But the most important thing, Thunder Armor and the Shield Slam. And you can use Concussion Blow on cooldown also, if you have Rage. And of course, if you are tanking in defensive stance, Revenge. Revenge causes a high amount of threat, guys. Unfortunately, I cannot demonstrate Revenge over here because this is a target dummy, training dummy, target dummy. Haha, sorry, this is a training dummy, right? So it doesn't hit back. Look at that Shield Slam, boom, 1.5k easy. So it doesn't hit back. Therefore, I cannot perform Revenge, right? So that will be your rotation. If you are struggling, if you are taking too much damage, you can always switch to defensive stance and you can go into shield block. Also, Shield Slam gives you an additional 70% chance to block. 70% is almost a block. So you have improved Shield Slam block and you have your own block. However, make sure to time them perfectly because if you see, for example, I'll use improved Shield Slam. I'm using improved Shield Slam, and if I use normal one, this one disappears. If I use improved Shield Slam block, Shield block will disappear. So make sure to use them like this. Shield Slam first, then when it disappears, make sure to use your normal one. Then when that one disappears, make sure to use Shield Slam one. If Shield Slam disappears, zigzag. You know what I mean? You are too chunky. It's I mean for Deep Prot Warrior it's not really a problem. It's like 10k armor, 11k armor, 12k armor some people have, etc. etc. Now let's talk about gearing a bit. You see over here I have mix of mitigation, of offensive and defensive sets. What I would like to mention, shield block value is your best friend. Over here I have 4 parts of tier 3 and 4 parts of tier 3 give block value. Shoulders, base, legs, and gloves. On tier 3 defensive, you will get block value on these items. on 4 of these items: shoulders, gloves, waist, and legs. Don't forget to pick them up. Also, as you can see, set increases the damage done by your revenge ability by 75. Set 2 improves your chance to hit with taunt and challenging shout by 5%, which is huge, huge, huge. Trinket I am using is Glyph of Deflection, which is easily obtainable from Sapphiron in Naxxramas. And the shield that I am using is Blessed Kiraji Bulwark. This is transmogged to Stygian Buckler, but you get the idea. The reason why I'm using Blessed Kiraji Bulwark instead of Face of Death is because Blessed Kiraji Bulwark increases the block value of your shield by 15, which means bigger shield slams. Same as tier 3 gloves, tier 3 waist, tier 3 legs, tier 3 shoulders. If you have them, bigger shield slam is. Guys. So, you get Blessed Kiraji Bulwark in AQ40, that Temple of Ankiraj, Imperial Kiraji Armaments. Right. There, Blessed Kiraji Bulwark. This shield is amazing. 3k armor, 55 block, 20 stamina, blah 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 blah. I don't know what's better, this or Face of Death, to be honest. It also increases defense by +8. This shield is amazing. Maybe Face of Death is slightly, but just slightly, better than Blessed Kiraji Bulwark. So, let's try to fish some big shield slam. Oh, come on, give me that crit. Give me crit. Okay, let's do it like this. 2.2k. 2k is 1.5k. 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 With Glyph of Deflection, it will be Glyph of Deflection, it will be like 2k plus Shield Slam crits. When it comes to professions, my little legends, engineering is what you want. It doesn't matter what class, it doesn't matter what race. Engineering saves the day. You have Goblin Sapper charges, you have Dense Dynamites, you have Shadow Reflectors, you have Fire Reflectors, you have Frost Reflectors, you have all that kind of things. You have, for example, Dimensional Reaper, Everlook, etc, etc, etc. So engineering is your primary profession. Now, will you pick up mining, herbalism, or skinning as your income profession? That depends on you, really. I will pick up herbalism. I will pick up herbalism. I mean, I have herbalism and engineering. Herbalism, if I need to make some gold, and engineering to craft sapper charges, thorium grenades, iron grenades, dense dynamites, and all that kind of things. Right. Did I forget something? So, yeah, we covered rotation, we covered profession. Now, consumables. Elixir of the Mongoose, you can use Roids, or you can use Elixir of Giants. Then Elixir of Fortitude, of course, it's a must. Major Trolls, a Blood Potion. Ramsey Ram Black Label. Hardened Mushroom, which will give you 25 stamina, which equals in 250 health points. Then we have greater frost, nature, shadow, and fire protection potions. Then we have Flask of the Titans. Then we have Spirit of Zanza, Swiftness of Zanza. Then we have Elemental Sharpening Stone or Consecrated Sharpening Stone. However, though, as a deep Prot Warrior, you will not use Elemental Sharpening Stones. You will not use Consecrated Sharpening Stones because your main hand is already enchanted with Wind Fury if you have a Shaman in your group. If it's a Fury Prot, then you will, for example, on Hungering Cold, I will put Elemental or Consecrated Sharpening Stone. Excuse me, but when it comes to Deep Prot, no, you want Wind Fury on main hand. Then we have Greater Stone Shield Potion, which will, as a Deep Prot Warrior, you are already chunky. As you can see, I'm 384 defense and 10k armor. I can tank whatever I want. If not, maybe I will put Cryptified Silk Cloak. I will put tier 3 chest. There we go, 400 defense, more than 10k armor. Total avoidance 63%, 0.43. With a shield block, that's 138. Plus shield block from Shield Slam. So make sure to zigzag Shield Slam and Shield Block. So Greater Stone Shield Potion, Free Action Potion, Juju Power, Winterfall Fire Water. Winterfall Fire Water persists through death now. Gift of Arthas, guys, if you are main tank, if you are off tank. Gift of Arthas saves the days. You see, it increases resistance to Shadow by 10, but that's totally irrelevant. You see, if an enemy strikes the Imbiber, the attacker has a 30% chance of being inflicted with disease that increases their damage taken by 8 for 30 seconds. For 3 minutes, lasts 30 minutes. This is basically plus 8 damage to your DPS, melee and range. Look how powerful that is. Of course, over here we have Elixir of Superior Defense, Greater Arcane Protection Potion, Magic Resistance Potion, and then we have Mighty Rage Potions. My favorite. Increases rage by 45 to 75 and increases strength by 60, which equals to 120 attack power. 1 strength equals to 2 attack power. If you have kings, it's 2.2 attack power. So that's pretty much it when it comes to rotation, consumables, gearing. Just make sure to get as much gear as possible that increase your block value of your shield. You need the block value for bigger shield slabs. You just need that. Let's try something. Come on. That crit. And there we go. Boom! 2k shield slam. So 1k. I have one more attempt. Boom! 2k shield slam. Now that's fucking powerful. That's fucking powerful. That's a lot of threat over there. Alright, let's move to weapon skill, hit, glancing blows, and all that kind of thingies. So this is weapon skill over here. I mean glancing blow, guys. Don't get scared. This is a really simple spreadsheet. New system versus old system. So what does new system means? The new system means that Turtle WoW implemented their own new system, and old system that's Blizz-like, what Blizzard have done. Alright. So, what's the deal over here? Well, you see, it changes. Let's go for new system. This is old system over here, and this over here, this is new system. Right. For example, you have 300 weapon skill. Miss probability in old system is 8%. Miss probability in new system is also 8%. Not much changed over there. As you can see, glancing blow damage in percentage, new system 65%. Same thing in old system, 65%. Increase in glancing damage over baseline, old system, same with new system. But what happens when you get some weapon skill? Ideally, I know it's hard, but ideally you want your weapon skill on 315. That's the top. Okay, so I'm not gonna say 315, but let's pretend that we have 312 weapon skill. 312. Glancing blow damage percentage in old system is 95%. On Turtle WoW is 89%. Increase in glancing damage over baseline is 46.15 in old system. In new system, it's 36.92. Let's call it 37%. Miss probability in new system is 5.6%, and miss probability in old system is 5.30%. Hit cap new system is 5.6%. Hit cap in old system is 5.30%. So the more weapon skill you need, the less hit you need. As you can see over here, for example, what did I say? 312. For 312 weapon skill, let's pretend that we are on 312. You need old system hit cap 5.3%, and on Turtle WoW you need 5.6%. If you manage to reach somehow 315, then you are at the top. Miss probability 5%, hit cap 5%. Same in new system. Same thing. Now over here we have increase in glancing damage over baseline, old system versus new system. The blue one is old system, and the red one is new system. Just look how perfectly they made this happen on Turtle WoW. So for example, let's see over here. You have 304 weapon skill, increase in glancing damage over baseline 24.62. Let's find 304 on new system. 304, let's see. 305. You see over here, 304. Increasing glancing damage over baseline new system 12.31. Blizzard probably had no clue what they are doing when it comes to glancing blows over here. But you can't blame them, really. I mean, there is so few weapons that increase weapon skill. Weapons like Maladat, weapons like the Hungary Cold, etc., etc. In Turtle WoW, on Turtle WoW, you have so many items. You have so many weapons that are increasing weapon damage. Doesn't matter, is it a two-hander, is it a one-hander, there is so many options. You have gloves from Oro, for example. You have belt from Molten Core. You have Doomsedge now increases axes, for example. You have shoulders in Blackwing Lair that are increasing swords. You have so many items, I can't even name them over here all. So this is what they have done over here is amazing. So yeah, the next thing over here, this is racial. So this only applies for humans and orcs, plus racial plus books. Exactly. So this is with book. For example, if you completed as a human or an orc quest line Ancient Warfare text, you get 5 points, right, from the quest. Plus you get 3 points from your racials, which immediately puts you on 308 swords or axes if you are an orc. So over here we have 310, 313, which equals to 40%. Then we have 314, which equals to 43.0%. And then we have 315, which increases the glancing damage over baseline by 46.15%. Hit cap, old system racial. Let me see something. Hit cap, old system. This is what we need. Hit cap, old system versus new system. Look how perfectly new system. The red line, obviously, the red line is new system. Just look how perfectly everything stacks. These are your weapon skills and glancing blows. So, long story short, the more glancing blow, the more weapon skill you have. The more weapon skill you have, you will get less, you will need less hits. The more weapon skill you have, the lower chance for your white attacks to miss. The more weapon skill you have, the bigger is threat if you are tanking. The more weapon skill you have, the bigger is DPS if you are DPSing. Simple. Really simple. So you want to pump up weapon skill as much as possible. That will be pretty much it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one. Arms Warrior Guide. Cheers.